especially in summer. I start at 4 o'clock. It's the best moment. Many people, they can't get up in the morning. I don't know why. Maybe too much on computer or on phone, but I'm so happy at 4 o'clock in the morning because the sun just arrived. It's a beautiful time to work. In fact, for me, it's a meditation. I'm working, but it's so marvelous energy. All the animals wake up. It seems to me that Earth wake up as well. And I feel all along my body the energy coming. And I'm very happy at this moment.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be back with you this week, and welcome to anyone listening for the first time. This week's episode was recorded in Bali, where I'll be taking a group of women this September for Wild Grace, a heroine's journey. If you'd like to join us, please visit www.amisha.co.uk and click on calendar for all the info. This will be the week before the Harmonise Festival, which will take place at Akasha, the New Earth Haven. Speaking of the New Earth Haven, this is where I met this week's guest as I was spending time with Sasha Stone and the team behind the 5G BioShield, Dr. Ilya Lakievich and Jacques Bauer. Some of you know that the issue of EMFs, radiation and electromagnetic smog are close to my heart, as I have the cell phone towers on my roof of the building that I live in London and have felt a build-up of damage to my immune system. I have been looking for something that will protect me fully, and some of you have seen the film 5G Apocalypse and have been concerned about what's coming. The 5G BioShield is made with new technology, and they have explored and tested many options before bringing this to market. When I held it, I immediately felt a healing happening as well as the protection. My body felt orgasmic, my heart opened, and I felt right brain activity. This was just in 1 minute. I now have one with me, and I'm very happy with it. If you hold it or have it on you, you get about 8 meters protection. And then if you plug it in, it can cover your whole house. I have added a link to this on our website with Raphael's interview. If you're ordering and sharing, please do use that link, as it will also support The Future is Beautiful. We don't do sponsorship or advertising on this show, so anything we do share is a personal, heartfelt recommendation or something that the guests themselves is sharing. We have set up an affiliate with the BioShield as I really believe in it, and for me it's part of creating our beautiful future. Another way that you can support us is by becoming a patron of The Future is Beautiful by making a monthly donation. You join our wonderful community, and we so appreciate it. You can do this at www.thefutureisbeautiful.co/community. And for those who wish to join Presence Collective, our sister project, where we explore embodying everything we discuss here on the podcast, you can do this by clicking on courses on our website, and you can join for just £25 a month. This month, we're exploring breath and how different breathing techniques can support our life force. My guest today is Raphaël Colicci, who has been passionate about alternative medicines and biodynamic agriculture since the age of 15. Raphaël has a centre in France called Olitherme, which is a farm and a place where he treats people with his hands. He has a background in physiotherapy, and in a visit to London in 1975, he heard about Ludshot Manor Hospital for natural medicine, which was championing never-done-before holistic medicine. He became a physio there, assisting the healing of degenerative diseases. In 1981, he created equitherapy for disabled children for the Red Cross. In 1988, he founded a thalassotherapy centre, which he has created on sterile soil, an oasis of abundance by saving hundreds of old vegetable seeds and 1,480 old varieties of fruit trees full of life force. In the middle of 15,000 olive trees, he has created a centre of oleotherapy where people can learn and have good connections to Mother Earth. Raphaël is creating a wall of bees at the New Earth Haven, which will be ready in June when Professor Lakievich and others launch the new science there at a symposium. In this conversation, we explore the question, how can we create abundance in harmony with nature? I hope that you are inspired by this conversation, and in light of recent news in the UK, we also share the invitation that in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Welcome to The Future is Beautiful, with me, your host, Amisha Gadiali. On this show, we explore the weave between politics, spirituality, creativity, and sustainability. It's time for us to move beyond silos and into an integrated way of being. Every one of us has ideas and personal experiences to share that can lead us to a brighter future. This is the revolution. Despite the challenges we face as a global community or the pressures that we meet in our daily lives, when we stop and dare to dream, to ask ourselves the big questions and to share what we are already doing, we create the future that we wish to wake up for. That future is beautiful. Raphaël, it is a great pleasure to be sitting with you, having spent some time with you over these past couple of days, hearing your story and what you've created in your life, and the love and dedication that you have for Mother Earth and all of her species has deeply inspired me. I was actually doing a phone call with the patrons, the people that support this podcast last night, when I left you for a moment. Some of them were sharing about how they are taking land and they want to use permaculture, they want to grow things, they want to connect deeper to the land. And I felt like not only is your story incredibly inspiring, but you have so much to offer the people that I know listen to this show. So thank you for taking this time.
I am very happy to share that with you.
So you had a interesting journey from being a therapist, working with the body, and then somehow later on you bought this land. Can you share a little bit about this journey?
In fact, as long as my memory can go, I always be in touch with the nature. Because when I born, my mother don't have milk, and then my grandfather find a donkey to feed me with the milk.
Wow.
And I always be used to be on the countryside with nature, with the garden, etc. Of course, I've been a therapist, but I also have a little farm. But when I was 45, I decided now to be only a farm in south of France, because I was living in the Alps before. And in fact, after a few years, I find a medical junction to do with agriculture, because I was cultivating olive trees and fruit trees. When I see the enormous potential to make treatment and to make new medicine with the plants and the fruits, then I come back again to be therapist and to do all this work.
You were working in natural therapies and natural medicine.
Yeah, for a start, I was physiotherapist, and I studied osteopathy in Maidstone and Chinese medicine in Paris. But what is fundamental for me is I had the chance to work with Dr. Chandra Sharma, who created in 1973 Lachot Manor Hospital in Lepuk in Hampshire for natural medicine, and to have this vision of the body as a whole, entire.
Holistic medicine.
Yes, at this time, it was not easy to speak like that and to have this vision of the illness. I learned a lot in this hospital, and I was very happy because to see people cured, even from cancer, it was really a work between all therapists, not only our magnific doctor, who also was treating the Queen, Elizabeth, but really a convergence of everyone and the patient to treat the patient and the illness and the symbol, all the suffering that people had since a long time or even before, generation before.
When you then decided to go full-time with your farm in the south of France, it was all stone when you got there. So you created the most abundant and rich and beautiful garden and all these vegetables. How many types of pomegranate did you say?
200.
200 types of
Yeah,
pomegranate.
but it's not the number who makes
I know, but
it's the fact that the place where I decide to live, I first live in community a few years before, but that doesn't work. We thought that we are going to change the world by rural community. There is not a lot of land to sell. And one land is offered you, but it was a carrier of stone. And everybody say, no, you can't plant anything. I say, okay, but I will try. And I try first by planting 1,500 olive trees. In this all olive trees, I make a first conservatory or 420 different variety. But I didn't know if all this will grow because we break a little bit the stone, no organic matter, in fact, no humus. And the agriculture chamber told me, we don't allow you to be agriculture because it's impossible. There is no earth, no ground. I make things not classical. I bring some ground from the Alps and some soil, just a handful, each little plant, 20 centimeter olive tree. And after I say, now I am going to make around this desert, I first plant avena sativa, which is in English a grain who grow easily and it's cheap. The first time it grow only 1 centimeter and not green but yellow. After I put other plant who give azote, like faceli, like green fertilizer, but they don't want to grow. The first time only few centimeters and not green, yellow. Then I just plant again, and the third time the plant became 20 centimeters.
Wow.
And once more, and it makes one seeds. Then it becomes autonomic. And each time I dig or I put all this green fertilizer into the little soil, it grows by itself. During 10 years, I don't have grass, nothing. And after only 10 years, a little bit of grass, it's coming. But I make mulch, we called it bois raméal fragmenté, around the little olive tree. And we were surprised how this olive tree grow easily. After 4 years, I had my first olive fruit, which is unusual. Usually you have to wait 7 years. Then I had a big surprise and encouraged me to plant fruits. And when I wanted to plant fruits, I look after old varieties. And by this time, I had big difficulties to find them. I say I must do conservatory of all this variety. And I start to make conservatory of cherries, of prunus, of albicocke, vineyards, etc., etc. I see that there is a real lack of all this old and very nice variety. And I've been surprised to discover that 75% of our patrimonial of fruits and vegetables have disappeared. And in fact, it's only new fruit, new vegetable who get ill, who are not the same taste, etc., etc. I read a study from Canada and after from Australia, etc., that ancient fruit has a lot more vitamins, polyphenol, antioxidant than all the new variety. And they had a better resistance to illness, and they have less need of water. I make the link quickly with the health. And I say, I am going to make a selection of the best fruit that they can give health. And I make analysis of polyphenol, anthocyan, vitamins, etc. And slowly I see that we can produce these new kinds of varieties and have a plus with health, and make sure that if a cultivator wants to plant this, he will be sure to have an income. Because there's important things I met, and I was very, very sad about it. It's to see that in all this little village, no more agriculture. And I feel very bad about that. And I say, I want now to dedicate my life to find solution. That's why I make a lot of conservatory. I try many, many type of fruits. I also introduce in France fruit never been, like azimina, triloba, papao, citrus, which usually are not resistant to the cold, but we nested them on Poncirus, which is a Siberian orange. And we do a lot of other experience with vegetables to turn back to the real autonomic and patrimonial food. Because in France, it was difficult when I did this project about 25 years ago. It's difficult to find organic food, all coming from Spain or Morocco, or Italy, but it is industrial organic food. I don't like it. No taste, because it's the same. It's not old variety who have a lot of taste. And then what we found interesting to see how to give value to the waste. I start with olive because I had to save a local cooperative who has 450 cooperators, and it was in failure. And I try to put it good again. I see that an olive fruit, when you want to get oil, you have only a maximum 20% of oil, of the weight. of olive. And mainly it's 15, because there is always something, or too much rain, or too much sun, etc. And then most of the time, we are wasting 85% of the fruit. And I get study to valorize all this waste. And the first value I can do with it was cosmetics. And then I create oleotherapy. I create a center. At the beginning, I didn't want to do that because I was retired from therapy. And but nobody believed in it. Then I showed them that it's okay. And in few years, my center was full from people all over Europe, and people happy to have treatment with all the parts of the olives, the leaves, the flowers, the fruit, the kick of
The pip.
Of the fruit, etc. And then I see that I can do the same for all type of fruit. For example, I save 865 type of grapes, and I make an investigation to use each part of the fruit, even of the branches, and always with what it can bring for the health, for the cosmetics. And I did the same with pomegranate. I have 200 type of variety, and like that we can have pomegranate in places where you can have before some variety who resist to minus 20 degrees Celsius.
And have you created some of these varieties?
No. I am actually creating some, but no, that's old variety that I find in the Middle East, in Mediterranean, in France also, very small. But people say at the beginning that pomegranate can't grow in France, but I find endemic variety. No, actually I'm on a try on black pomegranate. Why black? Because the color is very interesting. There is a lot of anthocyan in the peel.
Antioxidants.
Yeah, but also anthocyan, only due to the color, black color. This black pomegranate was used in the Middle East long time before to make vinegar, to make wine, because they were a little bit acid. And then I find in Portugal and in Azerbaijan, as a black pomegranate, much more sweet. And I just make a pollen in between them. And I am going maybe to get, because it's a long process, natural process, to get black pomegranate, but sweet, very sweet.
Wow. Can I ask, because everything that you're talking about that you've been doing are things that people tell you it's impossible, you can't do this. And somehow you have this resilience and this courage and this determination and this commitment to conservation and the human body, nature, these species, and to not be limited by any of these rules that have gone before. Where do you find this in yourself? Because also what we're talking about is not something that's easy or fast. We're talking about things that you have tried over years, and you have, maybe it's not worked, and then you've found another way and you've tried. And we're not talking about one type of plant, we're talking about many. So where do you get this energy and this determination, and how do you keep going when it feels impossible?
Yeah, you're true. Sometimes I had this question, especially now because I am 66, nearly 67. I had always the same joy and love to do this. The fact that this year was the worst year I had because we had 47 degrees for 2 days, and I had 300 trees who just burnt. Since few years we have tempest, we have for 10 days water inundation, and then my poor soil disappear, and I have to rebuild again. And sometimes I say, you mad, you must stop because you are going to die. With all this climate changing, it's very, very bad. I look in television, in paper, they speak about very far country, but in Europe, we are beginning to pay a lot of, especially my kind of ground, which is fragile. And in fact, I was very happy a few years ago because I create an oasis of abundance. We have so many things, so many fruits, so many people coming here, taking plants, sharing the harvest. Many young people who wants to be cultivator. I help them to make the right choice, etc., etc. And now I'm afraid it's going to be difficult. But maybe it's that my mission. And maybe if I do this with strength and happiness, it's because certainly it's my mission. And instead of stop, I try to always look after the solution. And what I decide this year is to create a forest now. I have to plant fagacé trees who take the azote in the air and to make darkness. I don't know how you say
Shade.
To make shade to the other more fragile. Then I'm really making a forest. Even if there is a little soil, I think it's going to work. I'm putting more organic matters. I am cutting branch and putting all together. I have having more animals in between the trees. I make a Noah arch of animals who can treat people because they are goats who are giving special milk, pigs who have a special meat with omega-3, omega-9, and some grease who is good for synapse and neuronal, and etc., etc. But maybe I have to look when I was young. And in fact, when I was 14, I say to my friends, I want to do 2 jobs. I want to do therapist, I want to treat with my hands, and I want to cultivate in biodynamic. And when was the revolution in France in 1968, everybody was struggling and saying, we have struggled against the class, dominant class, revolution, Marx, Lenin, Mao Zedong. And I was saying, yeah, but we have also make a work in yourself. We have to cultivate, and I was saying Steiner, biodynamic, and even organic was a bad word at this time. Mm-hmm. And people treat me badly because I was proposing alternative in our life to consume less and less petrol, less to do things with simply. And no, it was not a good idea. They told me, no, we have to produce more to get more job. And since nearly 50 years now, I was always treated as mad as it's not possible what you say. You can't feed people with organic or biodynamic agriculture. You can't treat degenerative disease. Since few years, I feel that people are changing. I feel that young people wants to take their destiny, and that's very good and make me happy.
Well, I'm very grateful to you for all of the work that you've done and that you kept strong and you kept doing it and you kept putting out not just these ideas, but really showing people that natural therapies work and that plants heal and that we can grow things. We can do it with biodynamics and we can make it organic and we don't need to use all these chemicals. Really, it's incredible as I've been listening to you today, but also over these days, I get that perspective of what it's taken in order to get to a place now where people of my generation, everyone listening to this podcast, which is multi-generational, but everyone here is already open to all of these ideas, already excited about these ideas, already wanting to live these ideas. For me, it's important to hear the almost like the battle that it's taken in order to get to this place, to witness you as somebody that has kept going and kept having new ideas and kept trying new things and kept showing, okay, look, you can do this. And if we use this, we can cure this disease. We can treat this. We can bring this health back. It's really incredible, the stories.
Yeah, but I'm not a model because I put too much struggle in it. By the time, I had to battle against the stones. And in fact, I didn't know that the stone was with me because I use stone now. I discover even stone in my place who were used 2000 years ago to treat people. That's the best gift I discovered 3-4 years ago. Also that instead of dig, because it's only the rock, I must elevate my culture like we do in permaculture. But it's difficult to do it in 10 hectares. But I am now generalizing permaculture, but it's very, very difficult to do 10 hectares. I, of course, do it 10 years ago, my garden in permaculture. But for me, it seems to be the solution to elevate the ground like I am elevating my spirituality. We are growing together. That it's good that I make consciousness instead of working hard all the time and take this breath and be more connected to my ground and to Mother Earth, working more on the energy that this stone can bring to me, to the plant, to the people.
That's beautiful. And I love that when you broke the stone, when you first went there, that you then used these stones to build houses, not just for yourself, but for a community to exist there. When you talk about, maybe you're not a model, I don't know, because I wonder if in order to get to the place that we are in now, where we can talk more about energy or these aspects, we needed people like you to have done what you've done with the determination and the really full head, heart, hand energy that you have been working with.
I am in it, and I see that maybe I could make more gentle because it's hard work. And maybe I see when I help people to become a peasant, to choose among all what I discover. In fact, as a therapist, I see what are the resources in the person. And when I go to find a land for these people, I see immediately the resource of the land, just like that. I see where is the water, where is the wild tree you can nest, etc., etc. If this type of soil will be convenient with which type of culture, we are not obliged to do all the same things and at the same rhythm. Everyone can do at its just energy what is good for him and what is available and what it is possible for him. That's, I think it's the most important, because I receive many, many, many people, and on 100 people, maybe 5 only goes on, because agriculture is very difficult. This type of manual agriculture, of course, which for me it's only one we have to do, because we get a product alive. You know, we get not only minerals, antioxidant, but we can put love in it. This has no price.
Thank you. You still have the treatment center there in the south of France?
Yeah, especially in summer. I start at 4 o'clock. It's the best moment. It's a pity because many, many people, I see how they live, they can't get up in the morning. I don't know why. Maybe too much on computer, but or on phone. But I'm so happy at 4 o'clock in the morning because the sun just arrived. It's a beautiful time to work. In fact, for me, it's a meditation. I'm working, but it's so marvelous energy. All the animals wake up. It seems to me that Earth wake up as well. And I feel all along my body the energy coming. And I'm very happy at this moment. And after at 9 o'clock, I start, I wash, I drink tea, I had some fruit, but most of the time I pick up fruit because I prefer eat fruit from the tree. Then I had my breakfast already by working and picking fruit. At night until around 1 o'clock, I give treatment. And after I sleep 1 hour, I eat, I sleep 1 hour. After, when in summer it's too hot, I do some internet work or phone. And after, at 4, 5 o'clock, I start again to be with my trees and with vegetable, because I make also a bank of seeds of old vegetables, etc., etc. Or I meet people, or I make a special path, educative path, where I receive all type of people, cook, bankers, or any type of people who wants to get
The cuttings.
cuttings, association. Then my day is very full of different things. It's maybe when people look me to do all this, they ask me how you do, but I floated with energy that also people give me and encourage me.
Hello, this is Amisha. We are just taking a little break from the conversation here. On behalf of myself and the team, I want to say thank you for being part of creating a beautiful future. We make this for you, so that we will all have the vision, wisdom, and activism we need at this time to weave a new narrative. Can you help us with this? You can do that by making a monthly donation to the podcast to cover our costs. Just the equivalent of a fair trade banana you might eat or a chai latte you might drink whilst you listen to this will make a huge difference to us. head to www.thefutureisbeautiful.co/community to become a monthly patron. And the other thing is to tell your friends about this podcast so they can tune in too. Send them a message or post on social media and let them know what you love about it. And whilst you're at it, leave us a review. And now, back to the conversation. Thank you for your loving beauty. I know that this is a rare moment for you, that you're here in Bali taking a break, and this is something that you haven't done. I know that you've traveled because you've been planting gardens in Oroville and in other countries.
Yeah, in many countries. I would like to do more, but I can stop only two weeks in January, because it's where it's cold and when there is no urgency. I like to go to countries, community, give my help. I was 2 months ago in Cyprus. I get the last man doing black olive oil, black, which is lost now, but I find a man.
An 82-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also help for other things, but you receive, you help, you meet people who want to go on with their culture, and that it's important. But I hope in the future I will have a bit more time, because I am mostly interested to meet all these rare people now who lives far away in the mountain or in the jungle, and who are medicine man, shaman, who has special culture. And also I like to go in the blue spots in the world where people live 120 years, things like that, and to see what is the element who make them live so long. It might be a vegetable, a fruit, it can be a water, it can be so many things. And I like to investigate. I like to look and share with people, all these roots people. And because a part of me is wild.
A big part of you. I'm not sure if there's any of you that's not wild, Raphael. Even here, you're here to rest a little bit, but already setting ideas to do some exciting projects and share more of your knowledge. It's really something. And I know we can only capture just a tiny, tiny bit of it, but I know that people can come and visit, right? And they can come and experience.
Yeah, I have limits also.
Of course, not everyone at the same time.
And here, it's 2 days. I don't do too much things. I just meet people. I am glad to meet you. I'm glad to meet such a stone and a researcher like
Dr. Lucky.
Professor Lucky.
Professor Lucky.
It's nice. But early in the morning, I am in the rice culture. I speak with peasants because I can't stay in bed.
Oh, so here you've been out in the rice fields talking to the farmers in the morning.
Yeah. And after we speak about project. Today I invited our delicious Sasha Stone. I show him what we do to save bees, a special solar apiculture. I show him how to get here a special pomegranates, how to make a special wall for the conservatory of 1 million bees at the time, etc. Then we have to share what the universe gives to us, because the more we add solution, the better it is to save our planet.
Beautiful. What do you see happening with the bees in the time that you've been working? How have you seen the situation with the bees change? And what have you identified as how you can offer a solution?
I have no real answer, because the spot where I live is pure. And I never see...
Created it that way.
Yeah, and I never see since 3-4 years as much as disease on my bees. I can't understand. Then I'm doing a special, I go far up in the mountains, I get wild bees and I put a regeneration and it's working. And this year I don't have mortality. Like the other year I had 80% and this year 0%. Then encourage me to get more and more in the wild.
80% died or 80% survived?
Died
Last year.
Yeah. And this year, none of them at the moment, but you are in January, you know.
Yeah.
I will see next month. Next month, with hazelnut tree who give pollens, all the bees are waking up in France, in south of France, and I will be or not. But at the moment, nobody dead. Maybe some will be weak, but not dead, which is a big improvement.
Wow.
Yeah, bees is very important. I do apitherapy. I get a lot from my bees, propolis. I make puncture, apipuncture.
Like acupuncture.
On the acupuncture point, I put bees, but I'm careful because some people, especially young people, have allergy. Then, okay, on old people who has rheumatism, it's okay. I make the puncture. Otherwise, I put in a cream and the poison, and I do honey massage. I invented a special table where you can lie and you had massage of the bees underneath, and you can breathe the air around the queen bee, etc., etc.
Because the queen bee has special air around her. Yes,
there is 50
50
gases around. Then I want to say to people is, you can create a lot of things. You have also to do your dream and not be limited by false beliefs, by thinking you are not able to do it. If you like the things, you will do. If you love the things, you will do it. But you have to think positive.
And not give up.
No.
And
have to be patient.
And look for solutions as well.
Yes.
But not too quickly. So you allow something to see if something is working.
Yeah, the nature learns us a lot. When I introduced Azimina papao in France 20 years ago, it's called mango banana. It's very, very nice for the taste, but it's not for that. I introduced it for anti-cancer property and insecticide property. It's a holy tree for the American Indian, and it's a tree who learned to you the patience, because for 3 years it doesn't grow, especially in my ground, which is very poor. You have to speak to him. You have to be with him. And after, when he decides to grow, it's marvelous to have all this big mango. You can have minus 20 degrees Celsius and don't die. And in general, cultivate tree makes you at the rhythm of season, at the rhythm of the nature, instead of our culture now. Well, everything is speed. It's very fast to send, to make things on computer.
Yeah.
And
there's always electricity, or you can keep.
It's easy.
You can do anything at any time, all day, all night.
But you have the patience to be with the tree, to let them grow, to let them give what they have to give to you.
Thank you. Raphaël, thank you so much for your time. And how can we find out more if we want to have a look at what you're doing. Is there a website about your treatment center? And
Yeah, I have a little website, which is oleaterm.com. But if only you type my name, it's enough.
yes,
There is a few conference, and my name is Raphaël Colicci.
thank you.
Thank you to you.
We will post links to everything that you've mentioned and how to find you. And again, thank you so much for sharing just a tiny bit of the encyclopedia of nature that you've created in yourself and in the world.
And thanks to you to make reportage or what it's good for the planet.
Thank you. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. As always, you can find links to everything we mention in this episode, download our book, and discover so much more over on the blog. We don't believe in selling you things you don't need through this podcast, and so it's made possible with you, our community. If you loved this and would like to fund our show with a monthly donation or join our online group to connect with other listeners, please visit www.thefutureisbeautiful.co and click on Community and Support. Please also share with friends, hit subscribe, and leave us a review so we can grow. Those gold stars really help others find us, so these ideas can spread. Here is to us, creating a beautiful future together. The Future is Beautiful is made by an all-female team working voluntarily or on reduced rates until our listeners' support grows. If you have been moved by anything you heard here, please donate the equivalent of buying us a drink. All donations make a huge difference to us and will allow us to keep doing this and remain advertising free. Until next time, I leave you with this question. How will you create beauty in the world?